And welcome back, everybody, to the Podcaster Nation. That's right, I said welcome back because I know you were just listening to our stuff and you loved it so much that you wanted to come back and get more. And you know what? We have a lot more for you. This is the podcast that's about podcasters, it's for podcasters, and that's right, it's done by podcasters. And our guest today is a podcaster. You guys crack the code. You do it every single week. I love it. Absolutely love it. Folks, this is the place where we come together to lift each other up and to succeed in this crazy business called podcasting. This is the place where the rising tide raises all ships. All right. And so I appreciate you folks being here today. We have a fantastic guest for you. He's got a great story, he's got a great cause, and he's done some pretty cool things. So I think you're going to really, really love this one. Looking forward to bringing this to you. The host of the 21st Century Disability Podcast. Please welcome Hollis Peirce. Hollis, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Rory. How are you doing today?
Well, like I told you earlier, better than I deserve, brother. But I'm happy to be here, man. So,
I'm happy
um,
to be here as well.
thank you. I appreciate you coming on the show. I know that you're a disability advocate, and you've founded, a league. We're going to talk about in a little while. I'm going to leave everybody in a little bit of suspense.
Yeah.
And you received a pretty cool award too, which I'll make sure we get to. But who's Hollis Pierce, man? What are you about, brother?
Well, Rory, I'm a 37-year-old guy with muscular dystrophy. And I've moved around quite a bit in my lifetime. I'm now located in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada.
Hmm.
I was born in Edmonton, Alberta, in Canada, Joe Oilers. And um yeah, as you say, I'm a podcaster. I started podcasting about a little over a year and a half ago. Because I was I reached a point in my life where my disability had uh kind of taken a more serious, it had progressed a bit more, and it meant that I was needing to live in a complex medical care unit in a hospital. And so I was looking for something to keep me going and something to provide me with purpose in life. And podcasting seemed to be the right fit, and it has been. And so I made a podcast called 21st Century Disability because it sort of it fit my niche of disability advocacy. So I started out with some monologue episodes because I sort of, I have a master's degree and I've always wanted to be uh, a professor at a university. And so I thought, okay, well, podcasting might be a good opportunity um, to get that kind of energy out. And so I did some monologue episodes for about 2 seasons, 2 short seasons. And they went I very much love them. And I think many of my family members and earlier listeners enjoyed them as well. But I started to hear more, like my family and friends are saying, we don't like radio Hollis all the time. We want to hear some conversational Hollis because that's what we love. That's who we love. And so this most recent season, I've started to do this with where I have guests and we talk about disability and advocate for different topics, whether it be for instance, I had uh one of my first guests was a friend of mine who has a PhD in disability studies. And what he does is he looks at how disability is represented in culture.
Hmm.
And so he was talking about how disability is represented in Batman, uh, specifically in the character the Joker, and how the Joker is always portrayed as having serious mental health issues, and how it is up to Batman to destroy those mental health issues and and see, because it is the mental health issues that is making the Joker evil,
Hmm.
an evil person. And so yeah, it's talking about disability in unexpected ways and things that open the mind to maybe someone, maybe a listener that doesn't know that much about disability or doesn't have a family member or any friends with disability that they know of. Yeah.
Wow, I never would have even thought about that with Batman and the Joker. That's interesting.
Yeah. It
Wow.
is. It is. And
God.
I didn't really think about it myself before my friend sort of pointed that out to me. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Now that was a podcast episode that you did?
Yeah. It
Okay.
was. And it was the episode of that on my podcast is called Behind the Smile.
Behind the Smile. I'm gonna have to check that one out. I missed that one. Um,
Yeah.
I did catch the one you did with Maxwell Ivy. He's a mutual friend
Oh,
of ours. Yeah, and he was
he's
just
a
on the
great
podcast.
guy.
Yeah,
Fascinating guy.
yeah, he really is. So, but you guys were just, jiving, just going at it. It was great, man. The conversation was
Absolutely,
awesome.
absolutely. I that episode could have lasted a day and a half, and we still wouldn't be able to stop talking.
That's exactly how it went when he was on my show. It
Yeah,
was like, we could have talked forever. So,
yeah.
man, that is great. You run a good show, man. I
Thank
like your
you.
show. Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's really I think I'm really sort of finding my finally found have been able to sort of find my way. Yeah,
cool. Very
yeah.
cool. Um, let me go over a couple of things that about you here that I think people are going to want to hear about.
All
Um,
right.
the first one that kind of catches my eye because it sounds like a gigantic deal, and that is you were awarded the Governor General of Canada's Meritorious Service Medal Award.
Yeah.
Okay, first, congratulations.
Thank
All right.
you. Thank
And
you.
second, tell everybody like what that's about, how you get that, and what did you do to earn that?
Well, Rory, I'm guessing you're based in the United States with
I
that Iowa
am
University mug that you've got there.
Indiana. That's right.
Oh, Indiana, my apologies, my
That's okay.
apologies.
You're good.
Yeah. Um, I love March Madness. I love March Madness. I don't know why I didn't pick that up
All
on
good.
the Indiana logo there. But but yeah, for those listeners outside of Canada, and don't know who the Governor General is, the Governor General in Canada is the uh today is the King's representative uh of Canada in Canada. So King Charles of Britain, because Canada is a member of the British Commonwealth.
Mm-hmm.
The head of the state is the King of England. And so just like your head of state is the president.
Right.
And so it's similar to a medal by the president. And so these these medals are given out to recognize individuals who have made major positive impact on the nation. And so I am receiving one for disability advocacy, my work in disability advocacy, because as you mentioned, I have founded a power wheelchair hockey league. And also I was hired by multiple music festivals in Ottawa to do accessibility audits of their festival.
Oh, wow.
And so, and I told them when they hired me, I sort of said to them, okay, well, um, uh, that's great. I can definitely do that for you, but you know, it's gonna be if you only want me to do it, I can only provide feedback in terms of my perspective. And so what I did was I convinced them to let me hire a team. And so what I did was I hired a team of people that had different disabilities. So we had a deaf person, we had a blind person, we had people with an invisible disability, and they all just experienced. I wanted them all to just go and experience the festival and provide me with feedback. And I did the same thing. And then I put together all of our notes and I made a write-up and gave it back to the festivals.
Wow.
And uh, and then as well, I did as I mentioned earlier, I have a master's degree in history. And so my thesis was about the history of academic accessibility in the post-secondary universe.
Hmm.
So what I did was I used my university as a case study. My university was Carleton University, which is considered to be the most accessible university in North America, if not one of the most accessible universities in the world. Because well, first of all, its physical accessibility is astounding because every single building on campus is attached together through underground tunnels.
Oh, wow.
And so you get students that are in their PJs for the entire year because they don't go outside. So you got people sitting in on lectures in their pajamas because they
Wow.
didn't have time today.
I mean, in the United States, they go to Walmart in their pajamas. So, I mean, I guess you can
That's
go to
true.
college.
That's true.
Oh, that's that's great.
Yeah,
So, all right.
and
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's where you went to school. How did they come to you to do this awesome study that you did? Is this a business you do, or were you just well renowned for this? I mean, how does someone tap Hollis Peirce to come do this study?
Well, honestly, it sort of was a thing where I got hired by the like the head of volunteers, like the chief of volunteers of the university of the festival. And I knew her personally because she was the partner of one of my care attendants when I was living at home with my mom.
Hmm.
And or the husband, the wife, sorry, the wife of my one of my care attendants. And then so that was for one of the more like one of the smaller festivals. It was the folk festival in Ottawa. Um, and then the Blues Fest heard about it because I had volunteered with them in the past as well. I did my volunteer hours in university or in high school. I don't know about you guys in the United States, but in Canada, in order to graduate from high school, you need to do 50 hours of volunteer work as well.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, and so volunteering at music festivals is a great way of doing that.
I imagine it's a more fun way of doing that,
It is. It
right? Yeah.
is.
Excellent.
Yeah. And so then the Blues Fest found out about it and they hired me to do the same thing. Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. So you're
Yeah.
the guy. You're doing this study. Um, is it okay to ask how did the review come out? I mean, was the place okay? Did you have to make a bunch of changes? I mean, how did that all work?
Yeah, well, actually, it was a very positive feedback. Although we
Good.
made one suggestion and they took it and ran with it. And now they because when I was there or when I was doing the accessibility audit. I made, as I said, like we had a bunch of people that we hired to do it with me, and we called ourselves the A team, the accessibility team.
Nice. Nice.
And uh and so ever since that the audit happened, the A team has continued on, has lived on. But they are no longer doing accessibility audits. What the A team is now is volunteers that are there specifically to help disabled people to experience the festival. So if you need help getting some food, they'll help you get food. If you need help getting to a specific stage, they'll help you do that. And also, there is now accommodated seating in at the festival. So there's like a raised platform for wheelchairs to sit on and so that they have a higher perspective so you can see over the crowd of standing people and or walking people as I like to say. Uh and they also hired the Blues Fest hired like company that does personal attendant care. So if you need to pee, the personal Wimble care is there to help you do yeah, help you uh help you with that.
Interesting. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of service being provided.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah,
Wow.
they're there. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. I really am. And that's a big service that you're providing, doing that with you and your team. Have you and your team, are you working together again? I mean, or was this kind of just a one time or one event thing?
Yeah, the audit was sort of a one event thing. And then but like they do like still a few of my physically disabled individuals are still volunteering there and helping the A team
Hmm,
and or helping with other volunteer opportunities there at the festival as well.
nice. And for
Hmm.
this work that you did, you were awarded this really prestigious medal.
Yeah,
Man, that's so
yeah.
cool. Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
great.
It was really it was really crazy, Rory, how it happened. I found out I was in physical I was at a physical therapy appointment and I got a phone call and it was this I picked up and it was this francophone guy, and he was telling me, "Oh yeah, I'm like, oh, can I call you back in like 30 minutes? I'm just in physio right now." And he's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely, sir." And it's great news. And I'm like, I had no idea what he was talking about. And so now this is the funny part is that I had recently switched banks. And I was having trouble with my credit card. And the bank I had switched to is the Bank of Montreal. And he was a francophone guy. So I was sort of thinking, oh, maybe he's from the bank and he's telling me my credit card is working now or something. Uh, and I called him back um and he told me I was getting a meritorious service medal. And I was like, what? Is this a prank? Like, like,
Is this a prank?
yeah, yeah. Am I being pumped? Like,
And clearly you weren't. This guy was serious.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. So again, congratulations. That's
Thank
an
you.
incredible story, and hey, power to you, man. Ordinary people like you and me. We don't get celebrated enough. I mean, for achievements like that, I think it's fantastic that you got that.
Thank you, Rory. Thank you very much.
Now, you did kind of gloss over something else I wanted to talk about. You mentioned it, and then you kind of left it in the dust. We got to go back to it first because you're Canadian, so it had to have something to do with hockey because all you guys up there love hockey. I don't get
We
it,
love
but
hockey.
you all love your
Yeah,
hockey, man.
go
Uh,
with it.
but you founded the Ottawa Power Wheelchair Hockey League.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to hear about that. So, what exactly is that, and how did you come up with it?
Okay. Well, power wheelchair hockey is hockey that is played in a gym with people in power wheelchairs. So it's ball hockey with people in power wheelchairs. And non-disabled individuals always find this to be astounding when I tell them, but it is a full contact sport. So basically, it's like almost like bumper car hockey. If like, so like, wheelchairs slamming into wheelchairs.
Uh, uh,
It
okay, you're right. I'm sort of sitting over here like, how? I mean, how do you
exactly.
how do you pull that off, brother?
Well, uh, you know, when you're on skates, you know how to hit safely, and when you're in a wheelchair, you know how to hit safely. Now I'm not saying I always hit safely, but no, I'm just kidding. I try my best. But so what ended up happening was like as a kid, I was I spent a couple of years of my childhood living in Calgary, Alberta, and I was 11 at the time, and I met these two guys at an Easter Seals camp, which is a camp for people with disabilities. So where we go sailing, climb, walk like rock climbing and all this stuff for people with physical disabilities. And they told me about power hockey, and these guys were older, so they're kind of like my mentors. When I met them, I was only 11; they were in their early 20s. Um, and uh, and so they told me about this this league, and so. I played with them for 1 year. And after that 1 year, I was hooked because we played it and my team won the championship. And in my first year, I was like, man, why this is fun. And then my family moved to Ottawa, and Ottawa didn't have a paralympic hockey league. And I was like, no, I just got like a taste of it. And so for years I was telling all my like physically disabled friends that were in power chairs here in Ottawa that that this was a thing and we needed to start playing. And eventually we did. And we started out just playing, uh pickup games at the university gym. And but then we developed and we became a bit more of a community. And yeah, we founded the Power Wheelchair Hockey League, and we started traveling, started doing, because like every year there's the Canadian Championships, because there's leagues in Calgary that I played in, London, Ontario, Toronto, Ottawa. And so we went to the Canadian Championships, uh, and we went to the North American Championships a couple times in like Minnesota. And yeah, it's just a blast. Yeah, yeah.
This is so cool. You're a menace. You're out there just slamming into people.
Yeah, yeah. And I broke my leg one time because my foot got caught on one of my opponent's wheelchair, and he turned one way and I didn't. And so my foot was 90 degrees to my body, and I broke my tibia and fibia in one move. And yeah, yeah,
It's a Canadian thing. Okay, it has
it
to be
is.
because one of my best friends is from Canada, and when it comes to you Canadian guys and your hockey, I mean, all sense of reason just goes right out the window. And you
Oh,
guys are
it's
like, "Oh, hey, I broke my leg. No big deal."
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Oh, but man, right, when I started playing at a young age, right, and my mom couldn't stand watching me. Anytime she would be at a game, her hand would be over her eyes the entire time, and she just knew that that I was gonna injure myself. And so she just stopped coming to games. And I was in university at this point, and so I was getting driven to the hospital after I broke my leg, and I I called my mom, and I'm like, "Oh, mom, I'm on my way to the hospital. I was playing hockey and I broke my leg." And she's like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." Like, she knew that this day was coming, so she wasn't surprised.
Mom's not phased either. Mom's like, "Yeah, get in the car. I know."
Yeah, yeah. And so she's like, "Okay, where are you going, honey?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just going to the hospital," and I'm told her which one I was going to. And I was okay, I'll meet you there. And then she asked me, "Oh, do you have your health card with you?" And now I don't know about you guys in the States, but healthcare is free here in Canada. And so we have a health card all the time in our wallets. And she's like, "Oh, do you have your health card with you?" And I'm like, "No, it's at school. I'm sorry." Like, "Oh, okay, I'll go pick it up and meet you at gym at the hospital." And so we hang out, and then 5 minutes later, she called me back. And I'm like, what? Why are you calling me again? And so this time, she was staving mad. But I'm like, she's not mad at me about hockey, about breaking my leg. She's like, you don't have your health card with you? This is why you always have your health card with you.
Oh my goodness. That's such a mom story too. That's so great. Oh my gosh, I love it. No, we don't have health cards like that. We have insurance cards, that cost us a
Yeah,
fortune, and yeah, so
yeah.
that's a topic for another episode.
Another episode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But speaking of episodes, let's move over a little bit. Let's talk about the podcast. Your podcast is 21st Century Disability. That's the name of the podcast.
yeah.
What's the purpose of your podcast? What do you do on there? What do you use it for?
Well, you know what? Rory, again, I started out just thinking about ways that I could use my academic training, in a podcast format. And I have a master's degree in history, and I also have a very big passion for disability advocacy, and I have done a few guest lectures in disability studies classes, as well as other classes. But so I thought, okay, well, how can I combine podcasting and history? And so I sort of had the idea about um because in university I've learned about the different perspectives of disability. And as a kid, I was like, well, disability is a disability. But when you go to university and you learn, and you're in disability studies classes and even other classes, you learn about the different perspectives of disability. And as we were discussing earlier, there is the medical model of disability. And the medical model of disability is the problem is in you. You are the problem. You have the disability. And um, and then there's also the social model of disability. And the social model of disability is m- more the one that I sort of identify with. And yes, it recognizes that, yeah, I do have a disability, but also the environment around me is creating more barriers, uh, that is that my disability is causing. So my disability isn't causing isn't stopping me from getting into a building. The fact that you don't have a ramp is stopping me from getting into a building.
Hmm.
And so I sort of thought to myself, okay, well, what's the best way of sort of um, talking about that? And so I thought to myself, you know, technology is really just breaking down barriers all the time
Yeah.
with AI and robots and lifts and elevators and even the electric wheelchair. Like my electric wheelchair now can elevate, so I can talk to you eye to eye when you're standing up.
Wow.
And um and uh the um y- the medical model is more of an ableist perspective. And ableism is all around. And so I thought I would sort of talk about um yeah, the how the modern world is influencing disability. Yeah.
Hmm. So
And so,
that's common. That's common on your podcast then, is to talk about those differing viewpoints.
yeah, yeah. And so I have guests on that are talking about barriers that they face
Hmm.
and as disabled individuals and how they can break them down, or if they can't be broken down, or how they might think they could be broken down. Like you and I were talking about Max
Hmm.
and how amazing a guy he is. And if you listen to the episode that he was a guest on my podcast, he and I were both expressing the fact that we are huge readers and we have a passion for reading, but reading is so inaccessible to us. Like he's blind, so he can't read a book,
Right.
and I can't hold a book open or take a book off the shelf for the life of me. And
Right.
my mom is um is so funny. My mom is always saying how she finds it hilarious that her only kid that actually enjoys reading is the only kid that can't hold the book open. Like,
That's how it always works, right? It's
yeah,
always something like that.
exactly.
Yeah, no, I understand. So, you guys, you depend then on, is it audiobooks? Is that what you depend on? Or is there
Uh,
another apparatus that helps you with that?
yeah, no, well, I do audiobooks. Yeah, absolutely. But and Max was saying, and for blind individuals, there's also Braille.
Hmm,
Um,
right.
And yeah, it's so reading's a thing. And like he and I both though were saying to each other how you can only get so much out of listening to an audiobook, and you can still take it all in and uh learn all the information that it is giving you. But the other issue is that there is nothing like the feeling of holding a book in your hands and the feel of paper when you flip a page and the smell of a library or a bookstore. Yeah. I don't know if you or any of your listeners can identify with that, but yeah, that's that's why I love libraries, but I can't hold a book open or let a book off the shelf.
Yeah.
So
I think that I'm a pretty avid reader, especially with the podcast that I do. I have a lot of authors that come on both of my podcasts and want to talk about it. And very
yeah,
often, I'm very fortunate that so many of them send me their books, signed copies and things like that, so I can review them and have them on to talk about it. But so I can relate to what you're talking about, the feel of the book, in your fingers as opposed to the
absolutely.
the audiobook. But by the same token, I'm sure that I and so many other people that I know that we take that for granted. Being able to hold the book is just something that we just absolutely take for granted that we can do.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah, the appreciation that you have for it, I'm sure, outweighs ours by miles, brother.
Absolutely. And I was telling him that my family and friends all think I'm absolutely crazy. But any book that I absolutely loved listening to, and I found it fascinating the information of, I always buy a physical copy of that book. Even though I can't hold it open, I love being able to look at my bookshelf and seeing all the books that I
Nice.
love and remembering, like having it bring back memories of the information that's inside those books. And Max helped me realize that I am not crazy. because it is not a bad thing to do that because he was saying that way more of the money from purchasing the physical copy of the book goes to the author, whereas I think like a ridiculous like 75% of the money spent on Audible goes to Amazon.
Right.
Yeah.
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 He's dead on. I have books on Amazon. So I've looked into it. I know it firsthand, unfortunately. It's they
Really?
take
That's
a huge
cool.
chunk of that, yeah. But no, he's right. The hard copy, if you buy a hard copy of the book, it does help support the author, and then they can hopefully write more stuff that you really enjoyed reading. That's a great perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ironically, he said, so if you buy the physical copy off of Amazon, so Amazon will give the author way more of the amount of money for their physical copy on Amazon website than they do for the audio version on their other service. So it's a very funny thing. Yeah,
Sounds like it. Sounds like it. All right. Let me ask you just a couple of podcaster questions. I mean, since you obviously love podcasting, am I right?
absolutely.
I mean, I can
Yeah,
tell. I just can tell. You know, it takes one to know one, but when I'm talking to someone else who really loves podcasting, I just can feel it. So I know that.
yeah.
As you've done this, do you do anything special to promote your podcast to get it out there?
You know what? I struggled with that a lot. And early on, and then so I started I put it on Instagram and Facebook
Hmm.
uh um profiles, and I had a Twitter account. At one point I canceled the Twitter account after Elon Musk took over the world almost.
Okay.
So I now have a blue sky profile instead. Um But yeah, and then I think what has been the most successful way of getting it out there is I built a website,
Hmm.
A, and also I started randomly one day, I thought to myself, you know what? Like it might be not a bad idea to start a newsletter. And I started a newsletter. And uh, and then now I send weekly newsletters out to my listeners.
Nice.
And for a long time, I just thought, okay, well, who would want to receive this newsletter? And I didn't even I was sending it to people that like friends of mine that I don't even think they knew that I had a podcast. Because I wasn't talking about it a lot at first. And now I have I send my podcasts, I mean my newsletters directly from my website, and you can subscribe to it on my website. And now I have if you subscribe to it on my website, you get like a welcome to the community email automatically put out, and yeah, it's that has helped me grow a lot. Yeah.
Great. That's great.
Yeah.
Now I always ask, I always ask one corny question, which I warned you about. So,
And
uh,
Podmatch, of course, as well.
and what? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Podmatch, of course. That's how I met you.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
shout out to Podmatch for sure, man. That's a great
Yeah.
service that
Yeah.
that Alex has put together over there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always ask one corny question on my podcast. In regard to your podcast, what is the thing about it that you love the most? And what is the thing about doing your podcast that you hate the most?
Okay, that's a very good question. Um, I think what I love the most is the fact that I get to meet just so many cool people, like yourself,
Oh, thank you, man.
and um, and Matt, and um. And I get to learn more about disability than I ever knew before. So my podcast that is supposed to be teaching others about disability is teaching me more about disability as well.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a great answer. That's a great
yeah.
answer.
So
Uh,
I think that is my favorite part of it.
okay.
The thing that I dislike the most, I think, is scheduling.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Um, just because I find uh I found lately that I'm having to uh like accidentally cancel or recancel because oftentimes I get up and my day is thrown off by because I depend on other people's schedule, right? I
Wow.
depend on the schedule of the unit that I'm in. So it may be that my nurse comes in 30 minutes later than they normally do. Because there might have been an emergency with another patient on the unit, or it may have been a bigger meeting in the morning
Yeah.
that set them back. And but also uh well, another one of my favorite things about my podcast is that I am getting to know so many people around the world. Like I'm interviewing people in Europe, and so like the difficulty is I'm scheduling an interview with a woman right now in Germany, and she's 6 hours ahead of me. And so to try to find a reasonable time in the day that suits her needs as well as suits my needs is a bit of a difficult thing.
Yeah.
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 Good, great answer, man. I mean, I can see those things. Yeah, being difficult, but wow, that great answer. And I love the first one, about what you love. I think that's probably my favorite one too, is just being able to come in contact with so many awesome people that are out there so easily. We hop on a computer. Next thing you know, we're sitting here chatting, just like we're having a cup of coffee together. So it
Yeah.
makes everything
a-
very accessible.
Absolutely. And I always think I'm always thinking, oh man, I'm gonna run out of people that would want to be on my podcast. And the next day or in an hour from then, I'm on, social media or LinkedIn, and I'm like, oh my God, this person would be perfect for my podcast. And like,
That's great.
yeah,
Always on the lookout. I know when you're a
yeah,
podcaster, you're always looking for, and you never stop really. It's just you start
yeah,
doing it subconsciously, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
That's perfect. Listen, Hollis, I love talking to you, man. I think you and I could probably talk for another hour, but just in the interest of time, let me kind of wrap things up a little bit here. In closing, I want to kind of make sure that I get one last question out on this podcast. I love to end with this question. You've done a couple seasons at this point, right? On your podcast?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
A couple seasons. Yeah.
So you've been doing it for a minute. And so my question to you is what piece of advice do you have for other podcasters that are out there that are not as far along in their journey as you are?
That's a very good question, Rory. Um, And when I honestly thought about podcasting during the pandemic, when I was still living at my mom's house. And I bought a microphone and I was like trying to figure it out. But it was more just an idea than it was a passion at that point. And it never really took. And so, I think that what I did was, this I sort of started out by watching YouTube videos of how to start a podcast. And I discovered like, oh, it's really easy. All you need is this and a mic. And I don't have a mic yet, but I still podcast. Uh but like it's Yeah, so I did research on YouTube and I found some great resources like Podmatch, and the first one that I found though was Buzzsprout. And I don't know if you're familiar with Buzzsprout, Rory, but Buzzsprout is fantastic.
Yep.
It was how I discovered, like, oh, I can get on Spotify. I can get on Apple Music. And I'm like, it is ridiculously easy to do those things. And so I just started recording and uploading and kept going. And, there was definitely certain days where I was um dealing with like imposter syndrome, and sort of thinking like, no one's enjoying this, this is going nowhere. But I listened to Alex on Podmatch, and this and found a greater community with you and Max. And um and you know if you're a young podcaster, just keep podcasting. And it's a fun thing, and it's a great way to meet people, and it's a great opportunity. And you might be frustrated early on with not making any money off of it. And I'm not making any money to this day off of it, but it's something that can provide meaning to your life, and it can shape you and shape your community. Yeah, it's great.
Nice. Love that. Great advice. Great advice, man. That's from the heart and stuff that you followed yourself. So I love that. Very authentic. Awesome. Perfect. Hollis, I want to thank you for being on today, brother. Folks, you've been listening to, let's see, the winner of the Governor General of Canada's Meritorious Service Medal. You've been listening to the founder of the Ottawa Power Wheelchair Hockey League, and you've been listening to the host of the 21st Century Disability Podcast, Hollis Peirce. Hollis, thank you for coming on today, brother, and sharing all your knowledge and just telling your story, man. It's been great.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Rory. It's a wonderful opportunity to be here.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Folks, this has been another fantastic episode of the Podcaster Nation. This is the place that's about podcasters, it's by podcasters, and it's for podcasters. This is the place where the rising tide truly raises all ships. So keep sailing.